Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Prowler Racing League Season 6, penultimate round 11 at Bahrain under the lights. Tonight's track is a classic 15 corners, 3.3 miles long with 3 DRS zones to watch out for massive overtaking into 1, 4, and 11. Slight elevation changes, but we'll see how that goes for everyone else. Let's head to the intermission screen real quick. Take a look at what our calendar shows for tonight. We're in Bahrain, round 11. Round 12 is going to be Singapore next week, but right now we're under lights in Bahrain. No special instructions for our drivers other than to keep it on the track to avoid those safety cars, which are back to standard for tonight. So right now, your team standings: McLaren out in front, 313. Ferrari 224, Alpine 174, 131 for Sauber, Aston Martin 121 with Haas behind 101, Mercedes 92, Red Bull 83, Racing Bulls 57, and Williams with 32. Team standings brought to you by our drivers. Our top 10: Sasuke out in front with 199. Vanilla 133, Dynamic 114, which is making the McLarens way out in front. You got Mitch in the Aston Martin 105, F4 in the Alpine 100, Lone Fiber 94, Boogie 91 dropping down. Zalexi last season's champion 74, moving up with attending the race last week. Then we got Season 3 champion, Some Good Salt dropping down, tying with Inception with 58 points. So right now we're just waiting. Not sure what we're waiting on. Command to go was given, so there the countdown is going. So we are heading to the track momentarily. Music down just a little bit as we're getting ready to head out on the track for qualifying. Less than 10 seconds left to go. And there we are, loading into the event. Let's go track side to get qualifying session underway here at Bahrain. Letting everyone get their tire selection set up for tonight. Again, no extra pit stop requirements. Just a regular Grand Prix that the game requires 2 dry tire compounds. But if it does rain, we are in the desert after all. It might not. It might. Who knows? But 2 dry tire compounds are required in the race. So depending on what the wear characteristics are for Bahrain, will determine what everyone selects for their tires. Looks like we got the mini map is already set. Countdown timer is going. So let's get rid of the in-game graphics here and pull up our custom ones that we get from Racer Ray. See if everyone has. Does look like everyone has their. Does have their telemetry set correctly. So the game selects Pro Ultra as our Aston Martin heading onto track right now. Going to give us the install lap. Looks like F4 is having some connection issues. Can't stay in the lobby, unfortunately. So we'll keep a close eye on that. So Pro Ultra, one of our new drivers, second out onto the track behind. Looks like that might be Vanilla in the Ferrari. It's not Luke. Getting a little antsy to get past Pro as we are on the out laps, trying to get tire temperature in for everybody before we get underway. As predicted, it is a clear session for qualifying tonight. Waiting to see if Sasuke heads out. He doesn't. So what we're actually going to go with our first car out on track is Vanilla Spilla. He will set our first timed session for this qualifying out on track as he's coming around, finishing up Sector 2, getting those tires nice and warmed up. We'll see what he can do. 4 lap time for tonight. We got less than 16 minutes left in the qualifying session. Currently, everyone's out on soft tires except for Luke in the Haas. Vanilla coming around the final corner, getting ready for his timed lap. DRS wide open, across the timing beam to start his lap. Heavy braking down into turn number 1. Cleanly through. Right, left, up the hill. Onto the second DRS straight. Purpling the first sector. Through the third DRS zone, heading up the hill. Just about to get out of Sector 2. Down the long straightaway. Looks like Pro Ultra behind is getting purple first and second sector, but Vanilla is going to set our time for the night. Across the line, a 128.242. Pro Ultra behind, coming across the line, pipping him for 127.414. Lone Fiber coming across a 127.781. Dropping Vanilla back. It's not Luke on the mediums. 4.2 seconds off with the 131. Let's head down to the other Ferrari, Boogie. Currently setting great times. Mitch and Sasuke. Purple mini sectors as they are coming down through the first sector. Looks like Dynamic giving a tow to Sasuke in the second DRS zone. Boogie coming down to the final corner. Boogie across the line for P4, the 129.559. Let's head down to, it's going to be Sasuke. The game would get us down there. Come on. Nope, the other McLaren. There we go. Sasuke. Setting personal best times. Looks like Mitch is directly behind, getting purple middle sector. Sasuke attempting to get a time on the board. Cars getting out of the way. That may have goofed Sasuke up as he came through. Final corner. Cross the line. Sasuke only P3. And Mitch up to P2 with the 127.419. The Aston Martin duo, 1-2 currently out in front. Looks like Vanilla gets a purple first sector. Down to the infamous turn 10. Looks like somebody already took out the bollard on the apex of turn 10. Very critical corner. A lot of drivers will be locking up that left front. Purple again, the middle sector. Almost 2/10 up. Williams getting out of the way of Vanilla as he's coming down to the last corner. putting the power down. DRS opening up across the line. P3 lost a lot of time in that third sector, 127.559. So currently the only driver so far. Two drivers haven't set a time yet. We got the Alpine of Player, which I believe that is F4. We'll have to have him check his telemetry when he gets a chance. The Anime Boy invalidating. Looks like he invalidated in the first sector. Not going to set a time. Dynamic moving up to P6, 129.129. JR currently getting out of the second sector. Personal best through the first and second sector. Onto the main straight. DRS popping over as he crossed the line. 1:36.592. Karuma in the Williams. Personal best in the first sector. Lost out in the middle sector, but he may still improve his time. We'll keep a close eye on this as he's coming down the track. .135.34. So it looks like softs are not the greatest. Let's go check out. Right now, it's not Luke. First, his time set was on the mediums. He's currently out on softs. Purple mini sector in sector 1. So this will be an improvement as he leaves sector 1. Still half a second off of Pro Ultra out in front. Pro Ultra setting another blazing lap. See what he does out of that first sector. Personal best out of the first sector. A little bit of a net coding issue there with It's Not Luke, but he is continuing on. So right now, Vanilla has the fastest first and second sector. Lone Fiber, third fastest sector. But right now, Pro Ultra out in front. It's Not Luke is improving. Coming around the final corners, Pro Ultra gets the middle sector. Moves up to P9, 130.152 for It's Not Luke. Let's head on up to Pro Ultra. Sets a fastest, 127.129. Currently 3/10 clear of his teammate. See what Mitch does as he starts another lap, getting right up against the wall, using that aerodynamic draft off the wall. Actually, while he's going through, let's take a look at what Mitch's telemetry is as he comes through the lap. Oh, Mitch has a great tow from the two McLarens ahead. Taking full advantage of the traffic. Hopefully that doesn't impede him too much. Personal best in the first sector. Showing purple mini sectors, but not fastest first sector. Looks like the McLaren ahead of him. Also on a timed lap possibly, because he's not getting out of the way. Not sure if he's holding him up either. We'll see as we get out of sector 2. You can see on the telemetry there, Mitch was full throttle. So Lone Fiber up P2, splitting the Aston Martins. Mitch again with a personal best middle sector. So this entire time, that McLaren is just giving him a tow the entire track. Let's see how this affects as we come across the line here. Sasuke improves time but not position. Neither does Mitch. So right now, Pro Ultra in P1, Lone Fiber P2, Mitch P3, Vanilla P4, Sasuke P5. Looks like F4 currently running P14. Hasn't set a time yet. We'll double check his telemetry when he gets a chance. Looks like we're getting everything. It might just been because he was a late entry into the server. Let's see where this moves him up as he crosses the line. P5 with a 127.862 for F4. So right now, nobody's really improving in their first sectors. 5 minutes left to go in the qualifying session. Pro Ultra out in front. Everybody looks like they're running the softs for the entire time. So right now, Dynamic improved on the first two mini sectors, but not overall in the first and second sector. But he is improving here on the third sector. Green mini sectors as he's coming around turn 14 and 15 onto the straightaway. See if he can improve his time. The 128.326 puts McLaren Duo 6th and 7th. Cutting the corner there. So MLB not improving in either of his sectors. So let's take a look. Yeah, Firefighter down here in P12. Sets a personal best in the first sector. Anime Boy as well. Looks like Anime Boy possibly directly ahead. But right now we're watching Firefighter. And I believe that is Anime directly ahead of Firefighter. Anime Boy still is yet to set a time. Exiting Sector 2, both personal bests. JR invalidated with wing damage heading into the pits. Anime Boy coming down to the final corners along with Firefighter. Firefighter P11 a 133.28. Anime Boy a 131.054. Pips JR up to 13th. About 2 minutes left in the session. Most of our front runners are still in the pits, possibly content with where they're sitting at. Let's go take a look at Boogie in the Ferrari. Personal best in the first sector so far. Alpine getting out of the way of the Ferrari as we head down through the third DRS into turn 11. Sweeping up the hill. Oh, there's a Williams there that's sideways. Hopefully he won't reverse out onto track in any dangerous way. Boogie, personal best in the middle sector. See what he can do as he's coming down the hill. Wide open track in front of him, no traffic. Across the line. P8 with a 128.521 for Boogie. It's like Karuma currently personal best in the first sector. Got that last mini sector just in time. Improves again in the middle sector. Pro Ultra out in front, absolutely flying right now. Cross DRS open, cross the line. Karuma up to P10. Let's head up the running order all the way up to the front. So everyone's setting blazing times right now. Pro Ultra coming around the final corners. Just as the clock hits 0, across the line. Pro Ultra, the 126.924. Next up is going to be Vanilla. It's not Vanilla. That's Vanilla. So Pro Ultra setting all 3 sectors alight to get the fastest lap. Vanilla doing mostly purple mini sectors. Let's see if it's enough as he's coming around to claim the checkered flag and qualifying up to P3, 127.406. And we've got Lone Fiber also getting mini sectors, personal best through the first and second. Let's see if he can upset Pro Ultra in P1. Cross line 127.096. Good enough for P2. So it looks like the only driver right now that's improving is going to be Dynamic. Coming around the final corner. Currently P7. Stays in P7, 128.111. So improved on time, but not position. And that will do it pretty much for qualifying. As JR is not improving in his 2 sectors. And he comes into the pits to finish the session. So, your pole setter. Pro Ultra P1. Followed by Lone Fiber. 127.096 off of Pro Ultra's 126.924. Vanilla P3. Mitch P4. Sasuke P5. F4, P6, Dynamic, P7, Boogie, P8, 9th, MLB, Firefighter, P10, Karuma, P11. It's not Luke, 12, Anime Boy, 13, JR, 14th. And that is going to be your starting order for the Bahrain Grand Prix tonight. Let's get this screenshot if we can. All right, so we're going to give everyone a 5-minute break. So, yeah, so we'll give everyone a 5-minute break to everyone stretch their legs, stretch their arms, get themselves There's strategies set for tonight. Again, there's no requirement from the league for stops. It's only the games to dry tire. So again, this is round 11 of 12. Finishing out next week at Singapore under the lights on the streets with multi-stop requirement. Don't know what it is yet, as we saw the success of Monaco's 4-stop and Baku's 3-stop made for some very interesting strategy calls. We'll see what we decide to do for next week. But right now, tonight, we are concentrating on Bahrain and how everyone can handle the circuits under the lights. Two-minute warning sent out to the drivers. Also a great time for anyone to grab a bite of their dinner if they haven't eaten it yet. Hopefully before it gets cold. One-minute warning to our drivers. All right, give everyone the heads up to let's go so they can ready up. So now we're just waiting for the beeps to confirm. We're ready to go. Well, in the meantime, let's head to... There's the beeps. Head to the track for a formation lap. So formation lap is underway. Pro Ultra leading the field on the formation lap. followed by Lone Fiber P2, Vanilla P3. The other Aston Martin of Mitch, P4. Sasuke, your championship leader, P5. F4. P6, Dynamic, P7. Not sure what happened there. Tire strategies tonight: medium, hard, hard, or soft, soft, medium, hard. So it's looking like it's a high degradation track. Looks like SimHub decided to say nope, and it disappeared there for a second. Hopefully we can get this fixed before they make it to the start-finish line. Love it when technology doesn't cooperate, yeah? As they come around, final corners heading to the start line. There we go. So let's head back up to the front. We'll go with Vanilla and P3. Keep the camera on him as he makes his way to the start line. The rest of the field is coming into view now. You got the cars at the back. JR, the last car on track, making his way. Grid is finalized. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And MLB with a jump start to get us underway here in Bahrain. Oh, Vanilla going way off into the gravel. Getting back out into track. Lone Fiber out in front, getting past Pro, but Pro's on the inside, not letting him get away. Lone Fiber now an Aston Martin sandwich. Again, the game's calling for 2-stop at least for our drivers. Heavy lockup there for Lone Fiber as he heads down to turn number 8. Lone Fiber going very wide there at turn 10. Picks up a 3-second penalty. Just drops him back down to P3 behind Mitch. Getting very squirrely. Mostly everyone electing to go onto the hards. Or mediums, I should say. A few drivers on the hards. Only a few decided to go on the softs. So tire life is expected tonight. For those on the softs, only 9 to 11. Apologize for that. The music was too loud. So the soft tires looking lap 9 to 11. Mediums 12 to 14. Hards 15 to 17. Hopefully somebody can get an invite for Kuruma. Firefighter retiring out in the pit lane. So we have 1 retirement so far in this race. Only at 26% front wing damage. So not entirely sure why he retired from the session. Hopefully somebody can get Kuruma back in as he left the session. So let's go take a look. So Firefighter said his pedal stand broke and slid away from it, so he couldn't reach the brakes, which is what caused Vanilla to drop down the running order. So Lone Fiber picking up another 3-second time penalty. Field is starting to get a little bit spread out. Mitch setting the fastest lap. Lone Fiber taking it back with a 1:31.818 on the mediums. Right now, the closest battle is actually going to be Boogie on Dynamic. Boogie thinking about the inside. Oh, takes out the bollard as he heads through turn 2 and 3, heading up to the DRS zone. Right on the gearbox of the McLaren of Dynamic. So in the pits right now is JR. MLB The Show still has his drive-through penalty, which he'll have to serve within 3 laps, I believe. So that on this lap, he will be having to take his drive-through. So Dynamic pulling away a little bit here from Boogie. Boogie losing out in that first sector time-wise. We're on lap 3 of 29 here at Bahrain. You can see Boogie's rear wing activated for DRS. Let's see if he makes a move heading down into turn number 1. I think he's too far back to make that move. Ooh, heavy lock up there from Dynamic. See if Boogie can capitalize on that as they head up to the next DRS zone. Rear wing is open. Gap closing. Still not close enough to make the move into turn number 4. So let's... Oh, Luke picking up a 3-second time penalty. So we'll head up the running order. We'll check out our leaders, see how that fight's going. Lone Fiber still behind Mitch. Coming into the long straightaway down to turn 14, 15, leading on to the main straight. Anime Boy picks up a 3-second time penalty. Sasuke doing a little bit of a wiggle on the wheels. Lone Fiber trying to make a move, or at least filling the mirrors of Mitch. And F4 getting past Sasuke in the second TRS zone. I think we got a car off. Let's see who that is. Looks like that's Anime Boy. Having the back end spin out on him. Currently on the hard tires. The rear's at 57% compared to 17 on the front, so his rear tires are absolutely cooked. And he has rear wing damage, so that explains why the unusual amount of wear that Anime Boy is having to deal with and why he lost grip so easily. And Anime Boy retires from the session. So we have 2 drivers down. Now down to 12 running cars. So as it stands right now, all running cars will score points for this race. We got a yellow flag. That is Anime Boy's AI coming out of the pits. Should be far enough ahead where it won't cause an issue here for our leaders, as Anime's car should be getting out of the way as it does to retire. But right now, Mitch and Lone Fiber going at it. Lone Fiber right on the gearbox of Mitch as they come through the S's down through 7. The hard braking of 8. As you can see there, Mitch locks up. Now for the critical turn 10, we got a stationary car down at turn 10. Looks like that is the V-carb of JR. As he gets going again now. JR with 100% wing damage on the right front. Camera would get to him. There he is. You can see the end plate and wing is gone. So all the downforce is missing. Re-enters the track safely there, getting out of the way of one of the Ferraris. So let's head back up through the running order for close battles. Dynamic hunting down Boogie. DRS advantage. Dynamic. Now, the smart move is to not make the overtake at turn 1, as the DRS detection zone for zone 2 here, which they are currently in, is right at just before the entrance of turn 1. So if they get ahead at turn 1, they won't have DRS at the second zone. So most drivers will actually wait and not overtake at turn 1 and wait to make the overtake on the straightaway. Close battle right now between Lone Fiber thinking about making a move there on Mitch as they leave the third DRS zone. No DRS here on the long straightaway. More times than not, drivers will actually use ERS. And right now, Lone Fiber, ERS battery life, he actually has quite a bit and not using it, relying heavily on DRS. Gets to the inside of Mitch, heavy locking up. F4 looking to take advantage of the situation. Lone Fiber up to P2. Now Mitch fighting back. F4, a little bit of a netcode issue there. Looks like he popped to the inside of the track. It was right on the gearbox. That probably explains why Sasuke is hanging back just a little bit, not wanting to get involved with any issue between F4. The Lone Fiber moving up to P2. Pro Ultra out in front by only a second. There you see him coming through turn 10. But unfortunately, Lone Fiber too far away to use DRS. F4 now on the gearbox of Mitch as we head down to turn number 11. F4 thinking about making a move. Looks like Luke disconnected as well. So Mitch making the pit stop first. See if he hit that time just right. So switching to the hards from the mediums. So let's head back up to the front. So Sasuke right behind F4. And F4 hunting down Lone Fiber. All right, so we're going to interrupt the stream real quick because we have a couple drivers that are asking for invites. All right, so whatever just happened on track, we totally missed it. So dynamic. Oh, so Lone Fiber pitted during our little intermission there. So currently, Pro Ultra out in front, 2.6 seconds. Let's check the tire life real quick. See how everyone's doing here. So Pro Ultra is sitting at about 56 on the rear, 48 on the front. Currently 9 laps on the medium tires, which the game was calling for 12 to 14, so we'll see. And Luke gets a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. Then next up in P2, F4 sitting at 49% on the rear. And Sasuke a little bit worse for tire wear. But F4 is on the hard, so he should be going long anyways. So we'll wait for the first round of pit stops to hit. And we'll see where the race story is for everyone so far. Currently right now, Sasuke hunting down F4 is our closest battle on track. So again, as we are here, Sasuke out in front, 199, Vanilla 133, Dynamic 114, Mitch 105, F4 100, Lone Fiber with 94, Boogie 91, Inception 58, Pro Ultra with 16, tying Vans. Mitch picks up another 3-second time penalty, so he's currently up to 9 seconds of penalties out on track. Again, McLaren out in front, 313 to Ferrari's 224. Alpine in third, 174. Sauber 131. Aston Martin 121. Haas 101. Mercedes 92. Red Bull 83. Racing Bulls 57. And Williams 32. Currently on lap 11 of 29 here at Bahrain. Few of our drivers sitting with time penalties and waiting for pit stops to go through their rotation. Let's see here. So your top 6 have yet to pit. So Lone Fiber and Mitch are the only 2 that were front runners that have pitted already. So all the other drivers looking to go as long as possible. So let's head over to our close battle on track. It's going to be between Dynamic and Boogie. Gap growing ever so slightly. But Dynamic's still within DRS range as we head up the hill. Around the tight corner of 13. Three-second time penalty for MLB. Ooh, Boogie going for the fake out, but looks like those team orders. So Vanilla comes into the pits instead of Boogie. Pro Ultra into the pits as well. So your current leader right now is F4 with Sasuke P2. But again, right now, the closest battle on track is right here with Boogie and Dynamic. Your top four have yet to pit. One stop is a possibility here at Bahrain to go 17 laps on the hard. Maybe that's what Boogie's trying to do. And Dynamic as well. Both of those drivers on the hards. F4 also on the hards. 12 laps old. Let's see right now. F4 is sitting at about 63% on his rears. Dynamic 54 and Boogie 47. So Boogie right now actually has way better tire wear than Dynamic, and that's primarily down to Dynamic hunting down Boogie this entire time, pushing so hard. And while they've been pushing, here you have Lone Fiber on the mediums, getting the work done, picking up fastest lap, 131.382. Oh! And it looked like Dynamic got sideways there. Not sure if he got tapped. Not seeing any wing damage from anybody. Looks like it might have just been bad timing. Lone Fiber getting the Ferrari of Boogie out of the way early on through the lap. So Lone Fiber pitting medium to medium. Currently up to P3. Getting out ahead of Pro Ultra. Pro Ultra going for medium to hard pit stop strategy. Nursing the tires is the name of the game tonight. So right now, Sasuke, your championship leader, his rears, 72 on the right rear, 87 on the left rear. The game is calling an average of 79. Let's see, and he does decide to come into the pits to get off of that medium. And as he's in the pits, there goes Lone Fiber, Boogie, both Aston Martins, and his teammate of Dynamic. So right now, your leader, F4, almost 12 seconds out in front. Right now, it's saying the rejoin position is going to be P6 if he pits now. Currently sitting at 69% on the rear tires on his hards. strategy call from Jay Sims. If F4 can push the hards to 19 laps, he can possibly do the last 10 on the softs. Yep. Possible. Let's see what F4 decides to do as he's coming around. Turns 14 and 15 onto the main straight. Currently, the gap back to P2 has shrunk down to 10.2. And he continues on. So right now, the only cars that have not pitted yet is going to be Boogie, Dynamic, and F4. So let's go check out Pro Ultra right on the back of his teammate, heading down to turn number 1. Heavy braking from Mitch. Let's see if they work together as a team or if they are going to be racing head-to-head. Ultra going to the inside early on. Mitch moving him over. Ooh, looks like contact was made. Pro Ultra having to go wide. Mitch getting the position back. All while that was going on, Boogie closing the gap as much as he can. The unfortunate thing is, most of the time in league racing for online leagues, it's every man for himself, and not a whole lot of people try to do work as a team. It's very rare you'll see that. So the fact that there's a little bit of contact there between the Aston Martins is to be expected in an online league. We'll keep a close eye on this as they go around again. And F4 coming into the pits. So Lone Fiber retaking the lead. Mitch and Pro coming down the straightaway now. Boogie behind. Pro staying behind to get the DRS advantage at the detection line, going to turn 1, side by side through turn 2. Into the second DRS zone. You see Pro Ultra with his wing wide open. Goes for the outside. Heavy braking from his teammate. Side by side still through turn 5 and 6. Oh, Mitch getting a little bit of sideways there. Pro Ultra gets the position up to P2 from Mitch. And starts to pull a gap. So it looks like the only car yet to pit is Boogie. The lead Ferrari in P4. You see him in the background there. So right now, your leader, Lone Fiber, at the bottom of the screen, 4.5 seconds ahead of Pro Ultra. Mitch falling out of DRS range as we head down to the main straight. Both Aston Martin sitting at 6% battery. The top second through fourth all sitting with no battery life left. They're using it very much to get through the lap. Sasuke, fastest lap, 1:31.269. So right now, it does appear that the overcut is the way to go. We'll see. So everyone has basically done their pit stops except for Boogie. So let's go through our race story with all of our drivers, starting with Lone Fiber. Your leader started P2, currently in first, but unfortunately does have 6 seconds of penalties to deal with at the end of the race. So he's going to work very hard to keep a gap to Pro Ultra in P2. So next up on our list, Pro Ultra, your pole setter, currently running in second, does not have any time penalties. So he is racing straight up against anyone else who does not have penalties. Then you have his teammate Mitch, started fourth in third, but unfortunately does have 9 seconds of penalties to contend with through the race. And Lone Fiber coming into the pits, getting off of that second set of mediums. So next up we have F4 starting the race on the hards, pitting around lap 15-ish, I think it was. Currently on the medium tires, started 6th in third currently. So we'll see how well that goes. Oh, we got slow moving Mitch in front. So it looks like Mitch may have gone a little bit sideways there. F4 closing that gap very quickly as we head down to turn number 8. Now we're heading into 9. Getting into DRS zone. Let's see what happens here before we go on to our next driver. DRS wing opens up. Sasuke getting squirrely in the background on the hard tires. F4 going for the move on the inside. Pushing Mitch wide, it looked like, coming through there. F4 up to P2. Started 6th, now in second. Moving further back, let's go check out Sasuke, your championship leader. Started 5th, currently in 4th. Keeping it clean with no penalties. Yes, Mitch's tires are pretty much cooked. 46% in the front, 48 in the rear. He's got nothing left on those. He's going to have to pit pretty soon. So Sasuke, no penalties, 5th to 4th currently. Then we've got the first of the Ferraris. Vanilla started in 3rd, currently running in 6th, but he got punted early on in the first corner, in the first lap. So he's been on damage control basically for the rest of the race. Next up, we got teammate Boogie. Started 8th, now in 7th, about to lose 7th place to Dynamic. Dynamic going to the inside. Can't get it done through turn 4. They're side by side coming through 5. And Boogie retains P7. Dynamic looking for the over-under. Around the outside, puts him on the inside for turns 9 and 10, the very critical 10 here. So Dynamic breaking even 7th to 7th against Boogie. Boogie looking to take the position back using DRS, and he does. Nine laps left to go in the race. Then we have MLB, the Show Me Your D, started 9th, currently in 9th, does unfortunately have a 3-second time penalty that he will have to count for at the end of the race. Kuruma unfortunately disconnected early on, so that's AI driven, so unfortunately his finish will not count. And then you got It's Luke, started 12th, currently in 11th, does have a 6-second time penalty to contend with at the end of the race. So let's head back up to the front. Close battle right now is actually going to be Dynamic and Boogie again. So as they head through turn 4 at the end of the DRS zone, Boogie pulling away almost by half a second as they head down through the S's. Dynamic can't get close enough. Gap is starting to build. Unfortunately, sitting 6/10 back is not going to be close enough. Even with the DRS wing wide open, Dynamic's not going to be able to make a move here into turn 11. So let's head back up the running order to our leader out in front, Pro Ultra. Mitch actually coming into the pits as predicted. 57% on the rears, 54 on the fronts. Went with the medium hard, switching to the mediums here to finish out the race. Lap 22 of 29. Now, remind you, Mitch does have 9 seconds of penalties that he's going to have to contend with, and he will come out behind the battling duo of Boogie and Dynamic. Dynamic picking up a 3-second time penalty. So, Boogie being ahead of Dynamic now just needs to stay. If he does get overtaken by Dynamic, just needs to stay within 3 seconds. But Boogie is going to do everything he can to finish the race on merit in front of Dynamic. So gaps are now too far away for DRS usage. There are blue flags running for some of our cars. So they may pick up DRS from those blue flag cars, but there goes your leader on the bottom of the screen, Pro Ultra. Dynamic with another 3-second time penalty. So that's 6 seconds now that he's going to have to contend with. Pro Ultra out in front, almost 5.5 seconds to F4 in P2. Pro Ultra on the hards, currently sitting at 35 and 37% on the tire wear. Lap 23 of 29, definitely make that go the rest of the way. Then you got F4 and P2. Then almost 3 seconds back, got championship leader Sasuke sitting at 25 and 31 on his tire wear. Doing a little bit of a lockup down to turn 10. But Sasuke set to get a podium finish here because Lone Fiber in P4, as we said, does have 6 seconds of time penalties. So right now his goal is to keep Vanilla outside of that 6 seconds, currently sitting at a gap of 8.9 back. 9 seconds now. So Lone Fiber in the clear so far from Vanilla in P5. Gaps are all stretching out. Mitch looking to steal the fastest lap away from F4. He's coming around turn 15, going to get DRS here on Dynamic. Mitch on very fresh tires gets fastest lap, 129, 715. Zips around Dynamic up to P7. So right now, Mitch needs to build a gap of 3 seconds to Dynamic in order to retain that position, as Mitch has 9 seconds of penalties to contend with by the end of the race. Gap already up to 0.8 of a second. And we're at 1 second now, so he's got another 2 seconds to build on Dynamic. 5 laps time. Ooh, heavy braking, misses the apex at turn 10, picks up another 3-second penalty, currently up to 12. Chances are he went full throttle through exiting the lap, or exiting the track, and just full throttled it back onto the track, so the game automatically assessed a 3-second penalty. If he had let off the accelerator and rejoined slower, he probably wouldn't have gotten that penalty. Here he is on the back of Boogie. And Boogie could let him go. Just stay within 12 seconds, and he'll re-inherit the position. Mitch, DRS wing wide open. Waits until after DRS detection to make the move. Gets up to P6. And uses DRS to pull away. Very smart thinking there. Good tactics heading down to turn number 1. As he continues on. Chasing the next Ferrari of Vanilla. And validates the lap time as well. So everyone's spreading out pretty decently throughout the lap. Let's go check on your leader out in front. Almost 5 seconds out ahead. 4.938 currently. Sitting at 45 and 48% on the tire wear. ERS is basically nothing left. 4 laps left to go. Then you got F4 and P2. About 5 seconds back. Also sitting with like no battery left. About 12%, 14%. 54 on the rear. That little bit of a lockup there is not going to help. But who it will help is Sasuke in P3. Closing in. Currently 1.2 seconds behind F4. He is on older tires, but much less wear. 34% in the front, 42 in the rear for Sasuke. Closing that gap down. Not close enough yet. 1.2 seconds. He needs 2/10 at the detection zone, which is right there. Unfortunately, did not get it. So he will not have DRS on this straightaway. Vanilla picking up a 3-second time penalty. Sasuke within a second. DRS detection zone coming up. He's too far away now. 1.1. Passes the line. He will not have DRS. But he does have a lot more battery as he deploys. It is draining fast. But no DRS. Mitch picking up another 3 seconds, up to 18 now. So Mitch will be getting a summons from the stewarding team. Sasuke now close enough that DRS does open, but he's still 8/10 back, not close enough to make a move. Looks like Lone Fiber. Everybody getting a little bit hung up here on Mitch. Lone Fiber thinking about making a move. Mitch closing the door on them there. Can't make it happen. Mind you, Lone Fiber 6 seconds. Vanilla 3 seconds. Mitch with 18. So the fight right now is between Vanilla and Fiber. Vanilla will inherit the position as they sit right now. Lone Fiber still needs to build 3 seconds on Vanilla. But right now it's getting a little bit hung up behind Mitch. 2 laps left to go. Sasuke up to P2, getting past F4, building a gap now. That's dropping a little bit. Luke picks up a 3-second time penalty, currently up to 9 seconds. Mitch hugging the wall. Lone Fiber following right behind. Mitch closing the ability to take that inside line. Let's see who got the DRS. Feels Mitch or Lone Fiber. Lone Fiber taking evasive through the gravel. Mitch getting DRS, so Mitch slowed down just enough to get DRS at turn 1. The gap back to Vanilla, less than a second. So Vanilla will inherit as it stands right now. All the while, Boogie with no time penalties right there in the background. Let's go take a look at our leaders up front. Sasuke getting past F4 up to P2. Your top three, no time penalties with them. So it's a straight up race as we are on the final lap. Lone Fiber dropping way back. There was a yellow flag at the end of Sector 2. Looked like Lone Fiber had an issue and picks up another 3-second time penalty. So there's Pro Ultra out in front going through turn 4. Sasuke 3.6 back. F4 1.6 back. Lone Fiber having to come into the pits. His tires were pretty much, they weren't terrible, but they weren't great. So here is your leader of the race, Pro Ultra. Going with the medium hard strategy. Mitch picking up another 3-second time penalty, up to 21 now. And Lone Fiber decided to go on the wet tires to finish this race as Pro Ultra coming down the straightaway. There's the checker flag waving. Cross the line, Pro Ultra wins the race. Sasuke slowing way down. Letting F4 through. F4 P2, Sasuke P3. Mitch with his 21 seconds of penalties. Coming across the line. Next up, Boogie. Cross the line, P4, Vanilla, P5. Dropping Mitch all the way down to P6. Next across the line is going to be Dynamic. Looking sideways through the final corner. Better get going before Lone Fiber on the wet tire might overtake him. There's Fiber in the background. Dynamic finishing out the race. Lone Fiber going squirrely on the wet tires across the line. And your last running car is MLB in P9. Luke had a flat tire finishing out the race. So here's MLB across the line. So that's going to do it for Bahrain. Pro Ultra across the line. 17 laps on the hard tires, start on the mediums. Pro Ultra P1, F4 P2. Sasuke taking P3. Oh, Dynamic had a blown tire on the last lap. That's why he spun out in the final corners. So let's get a screenshot here real quick of the results. Driver of the day is Boogie. Mitch with the fastest lap. Pro Ultra with the winning. Vanilla with the most overtakes. Let's get a screenshot of this. So again, Pro Ultra, your winner. F4, P2, Sasuke, P3, Boogie, P4, Vanilla, 5th, Mitch, 6th, Dynamic, 7th, Lone Fiber, 8th, MLB, 9th, and then it's going to be Luke in P10 because Kuruma, unfortunately, the AI finished the race for him. Then JR DNF, Anime Boy DNF, and Firefighter DNF. So that is going to be it for here at Bahrain. Apologize for the glitches early on, music being too loud during the middle of the start of the race. But that is your penultimate round at Bahrain. Next week, we finish Season 6 under lights in the streets of Singapore. We look forward to seeing you there. And we will see you all next week at Singapore. Thanks for coming out.